How are we doing, everybody? This is AJ Torres from Colin Strikes, courtesy of Undrafted Sports down below. And I got to mention something. This goes to the professor of the cut over in the Toronto area. And if you look at the pitching of the Blue Jays, let me run through this. This is from Maddie, and this is Maddie Chalette from Twitter. Let's see. She goes, "Is this a joke? Bullpen injuries this season to the Toronto Blue Jays." Now, technically, this is the Florida and Buffalo Blue Jays, where, the new system they have down in Florida is amazing. And Buffalo, they turned into a great field, but it's just so much different because some of these guys have been living in hotel rooms. It's just not great. Home away from home. This has been quite the burden on them. And the fact that they're playing well, I actually condone it because it definitely hasn't been easy for him. But the injuries kind of go as follows, and we just had a couple recent ones. Kirby Yates, Tommy John, David Phelps, lat, Merriweather, oblique, Patrick Murphy, AC joint, Travis Berger, shoulder, Anthony Kay, not my boss from the network, but the pitcher, a blister. Ryan Borucki, forearm, AJ Cole, neck, Jordan Romano, elbow, yee, and Carl Edwards Jr., that's CJ Edwards. Anyway, oblique, never good. So if we tie that up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's just 10 bullpen arms. Excuse me. What the hell happened to this ship? That is terrible. And how do you recover from that? When I see teams and they have both their bullpen arms down that are huge, it might be like, it doesn't even have to be the closer. If it's like their seventh and eighth inning guy and they're done for the year, I'm thinking to myself, oh, goodness, what's next? Now, here's what I got going on. Despite the graduation from prospect to big leaguer in Vlad Jr., Kevin Biggio, and Bo Bichette, currently the Blue Jays have the seventh best ranked farm system in MLB. Top 10. You wouldn't think. But I got a couple names for you. Now, one of them is definitely probably not going to happen, but this team is going to be in sell mode for this season because of where they are in the division. And it's actually it's got me wondering because still a lot of pieces from the World Series team. The Nats are going to be sellers. I don't think Mad Max would agree to a trade to Toronto, but fans could dream. The big X factor in the next one I have is, well, again, we're not sure if they're going to be buyers or if they're going to be sellers because they have a lot of room and they have a lot of key free agents coming up. This is going to remind me of the Kansas City Royals when they gave up, let's see, you had Moose, you had Mike Moustakas, you had Lorenzo Cain, and you had Eric Hosmer. There's a couple guys out of there, but that main core stayed together because they thought they were going to contend again, and it put them back a couple of years, and they are still trying to find their identity and get out of their hole. But do I think that if they trade them for prospects, it would have saved them 2 years in development? Oh, absolutely. So that's where the Cubs are going to head, and that's why I have Craig Kimbrell as a question mark. Now, what prospects they're going to be able to give up for this, I do not know. But if they are sellers at the deadline, and there's even rumors, and Chris Bryant is rumored ever since last year to be traded. Javi Baez is rumored to get traded. Some people think that Anthony Rizzo will be back, actually. But there's some speculate that he might be dealt as well. So why not Craig Kimbrell? Bearded Craig? Everybody need a relief pitcher? Go for it. All right, back to the Nationals. Daniel Hudson. Now, how much this is going to cost, I don't know. I think if you give them 2 pitching prospects for Daniel Hudson, this is a make. Now, the big one, I think it's going to be a combination between Anderson and Richard Rodriguez from Pittsburgh, a starter and a relief pitcher. Something both the Blue Jays could use right now. I think that combo deal to give them some depth and to, I mean, this team all year pitching has just been the Achilles. The offense could put up 5 to 6 runs minimum a night, regardless of who's on the mound. And if the pitching kept them close outside of Ryu, you got something going. So next, another seller. We've got two sellers down south. We got Ian Kennedy, which I actually think will be a cheap option because he was a star in his career. Kind of journeyman all over the place, but he's been solid as a closer. Do I consider him very high up on the board if you compare all closers in a line? No. But am I one of those guys that'll be like, hey, you know what? The seventh or eighth inning is yours and go for it? Right now, my answer is yes. And the next up would be this is a familiar name since his days in KC. Hakeem Soria from the D-backs. Now, I don't think he's going to be back next year for the Diamondbacks. This is another team where I can't figure out what they want to do. They're last place in their division, but they're behind the Colorado Rockies in that division, which was said to be the worst team in baseball this year after Nolan Arenado got traded. They are last place in that division, and if I were them, I would sell everything off. But what would the Jays use? I think Soria for a pitching prospect would do wonders because, again, let's say your star gives you 6 innings, which is what you planned for. It's a long, long bridge of guys, and you got to have the offense bail them out most of the time. So this team needs arms. They need guys to step up. And I can't say, oh, they have prospects because guess what? How do you replace 10 guys that are all pitchers? How do you replace 10 pitchers on one single roster? Now I'm like, wait, their closer is down right now? Oh, look at Mayweather. He's got an injury going on. He's got the oblique, and that could be anything. That's a very rough injury, particularly for a pitcher, and we don't know the timetable on that for the most part. But, blister with Anthony Kay, that's probably the easiest one. But really, it doesn't matter what the case may be because every single time two pitchers go down, it really puts a team back. Now, the only thing that changes this is if the Blue Jays, I'm going to try and be on with the professor of the cut, Joe Mam, hopefully in a month and a half when it gets around the trade deadline heat, when it starts to really heat up and deals are starting to be really made and it's getting down to the wire. But in a month from now, will they be buyers or will they be sellers? And where are they in a division that consists of the Red Sox, the Rays, and the Yankees, despite them being cold right now? But that's baseball. So we will see what happens. We'll see if I could get him on. And until then, enjoy. And it is a good time to be a fan of Toronto baseball. Best of luck in Buffalo. You have my vote of confidence. Take it easy, y'all.